So you all know that April starts the Donor Awareness Month and gratitude for our donors. So first of all, before I share my story, I want to say from the bottom of my old heart to the top of my new heart, I am so grateful for those who chose to say yes, that I can be here today to share my story. Because if they didn't, I wouldn't be here. So my heart goes out to all of those who are willing to share the gift of life. In the year 2000, I was diagnosed with congenital heart failure. It's the technical term is ARVD. I was born with it, and there was nothing that I could do about it. So imagine being an aerobics instructor of 10 years and finding out that you have a big heart. The first thing I told Kismet and the rest of the team was, how do you know I have a big heart? You just met me. And they told me that that wasn't a good thing. So at the time, I was drawn up for all the blood work and everything to potentially be on the transplant list. But thanks to Coreg and all the other medications out there, the team was able to prolong my life for 16 years. And finally, the year 2016, I came, as many of you have to come in to get your prescriptions refilled, right? And my thought was, oh, here we go again. I got to go in to get my prescriptions refilled, la-di-da. And I was fortunate enough that Kismet was there that day, and she took one look at me and she said, you know, I'm going to get Dr. Afshar to come and talk to you. And he came in, and I hadn't met Dr. Afshar before. And the first thing he says to me is, has anyone talked to you about a heart transplant? And I was like, yeah, 16 years ago, but we decided my quality of life was better with that, so what are we bringing it up for today? He's like, I think it's time to talk about that again. And so, as many of you have probably felt, the first thing you think, are you really talking to me? I don't need a transplant, I'm all right, right? But come to find out, I'd had a massive cardiac event, January 30th. It was right about this time when I'd gone in to get my prescriptions actually refilled. And January 30th, I was in the middle of Yellowstone, snowmobiling, no vehicles, nothing. And I'd had a massive cardiac event that if I didn't have my defibrillator, I would not have been able to make it the next day. Hindsight, I do remember exactly where I was, what I was doing. Believe it or not, it was 3 a.m. in the morning. And I didn't realize what had happened, that my defibrillator had gone off until they interrogated it to do the test to see if I actually would need a transplant. And at that moment, I thought, wow, what a blessing for me to be able to have a defibrillator, to be able to get out of Yellowstone and find out about the event after the fact. But at that time, it was time to find out if I would qualify to get on the transplant list. And the next 45 days, emotional roller coaster, as many of you have probably felt. You go from, I'm not the one that needs a heart transplant, it's somebody else, then you've got to be talking to the wrong person, to, oh crap, I hope I can pass all the tests to get on that transplant list. And on May 20th, 2016, I was placed on the heart transplant list. And at that time, with everything that was going on, for me, I kept it from all my coworkers and my mom. The only people that knew were my husband and my son. And that was the most challenging part, is trying to make sure that I was getting the tests before work and after work and so on. And a week before, I had ran the Donor Dash. Yeah, I had ran the Donor Dash August 20th, and I had my first call from Dr. Afshar that evening when I had a group of people that were coming to my house. And he called and said, are you in town? And I said, of course I'm in town. You told me not to leave. And he said, we think we might have a right match for you. And I was like, but I'm having a party. There's people coming to my house. And he said, I've got to talk to Dr. Kafori, and I'll call you back. So he called me back, and he said, it's not the right match. We're going to wait. So I looked at my husband, and I said, I guess the party goes on. So that week, that Wednesday, actually, sorry to be so specific, but it's just interesting how the timing of all the events just work out as they're meant to be. That Wednesday, I had an appointment with my defibrillator, the rhythm guys, as I call them. And there was some shock going on from different places that my defibrillator wasn't showing where it was coming from. And they wanted to put a Holter monitor on me. I called the heart failure heart transplant team. I'm like, why? We know where this road is going. And they said, well, they want to make sure you don't have a stroke before we get you a heart. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll wear the Holter monitor. And of course, as a female trying to hide everything from her coworkers, I thought, how am I going to hide this thing now? But that Saturday, I got a call at 5 a.m. in the morning, and Dr. Afshar said, we think we have the right match. And I said, are you going to call me back? He said, no, I want you to be in the hospital in 2 hours. Okay. I went downstairs and I showered and got ready. I woke up my mom because she happened to be at my house, and I said, I got to go. And the first thing she says is, are you working out already? And I said, no, Mom, it's time. I've got to go get my new heart. And then we had this argument about who was driving. But needless to say, when I told my son, who was 13 at the time, that was the most amazing thing, because all he did was give me a huge hug and tell me how excited he was that I was going to have a second chance at life. Because we'd go for hikes, and I would be a mile behind my son and my husband, and I would just say, I just have to keep going. Thanks to the gift that someone was willing to share with me, I can actually go to sleep at night without worrying if I'm going to be able to make it to my son's graduation or a wedding or be a grandma at some point. Where for 16 years, I didn't know if my heart was just going to go into VFib, VTAC, you name it, and I wasn't going to be able to control it. And that is the greatest gift of all, and I'm just so grateful for every minute of my life, and so grateful for all the amazing doctors, Dr. Kafori, Dr. Afshar, Kismet, Stacy. I can't stop naming all of them because they're all so stinking amazing on that transplant team, that we're so fortunate to be in this hospital with this amazing team.